What tactics do you use or teach to help with presence and nonverbal communication?
One of the tactics that I use, which I think is almost now more important than ever with a mostly remote workforce or majority remote now, is resetting mentally before you enter a new context. And so usually for everybody that's sort of jumping Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting all day, um, I try to be incredibly intentional before I hit the join button, where I will like literally take a count of three and breathe and think back to what's the last thing I knew about this thread. I'll pull up any notes. I'll look for were there outstanding questions. I will look at the list of attendees and think about what each of those people needs from that meeting. And then I join. And I think that teaching that as a reset practice, as a, some of it is just presence, right? Like being fully present. But I think a lot of it also orients you socially. Because obviously in a meeting, you're in a social environment and you're trying to hopefully achieve some outcome in that environment. And so orienting yourself first before you get into it, I think is an important thing to do, to have before you arrive. I'd say that's one thing. Another one is I definitely teach how to approach people based on what they need. So this is especially true. There's an entire category of executive communication skills, right? I think that's one way to talk about it, and executives are certainly one target. I find it's really just human communication skills, though, in understanding what those people need and what they want and what data and tools they have at their disposal to take actions is incredibly important to having a successful communication with them. So I have definitely taught many people on how do you even start to think about that, right? Who is your audience? What do you mean tools, that they have? What do you mean levers they have to pull? What data do they swim in all day? Who do they talk to? And what does success look like for them, right? Because that could be different in the same meeting if you have a designer and a product manager and a QA person and a vice president. Every single one of them wants a different thing often out of that communication, and the decision making that happens, which is a whole nother chapter. And so finding a way, and I won't say I'm perfect at this by any means, but it's a continual process of trying to basically win in that meeting by getting people what they need to move forward, right? And understanding that that may be 6 to 8 to 10 different things. And that can be challenging, especially when, again, you're not dictating an agenda. You're not dictating a dialogue or a monologue to these people. You're having a conversation. It's very messy. It's very human.